Peace, peace, peace. I am Phillip Roundtree, and you are tuned into the Cinco de Mayo. Hola, ¿cómo? Let's start over. Let's start over. Hola, ¿cómo estás? You are tuned into the Cinco de Mayo episode of Rhetorically Speaking. You wouldn't think that I had 3 years of Spanish in college. I mean, I guess you can see why it was all Spanish one each time. But again, this Cinco de Mayo salute to our Latinx people out here in the streets making it do what it do while we're still living this quarantine life. I'm not sure. Like, what do you do on this day? I've noticed I see a lot of people drinking, but I think that's like it's kind of messed up, right? To attribute alcohol to like a holiday or an important day. I have no idea what Cinco de Mayo even means. I guess I can look that up at some point, but I know that it involves drinking, just like St. Patrick's Day, just like Thanksgiving, just like Christmas. I think every holiday, July 4th, Martin Luther King Day, they all involve drinking. But shout out to you all who are celebrating on this day, trying to maintain during this quarantine time. We got a dope show as we await our guest. Hopefully he comes through. But we got a dope show or tap for y'all today. I'm kind of flustered. I'm not gonna lie. Um, it's difficult, right? It's difficult being a black man in society if you haven't seen what's transpired within the last week or so. It's unfortunate because the incident transpired back in February. But a black man by the name of Ahmaud Arbery was senselessly murdered in Georgia while he was jogging. And so, I tried to bring the alacrity. I tried to bring some type of humor with the Cinco de Mayo, man. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not feeling it. What I'm feeling is hurt. What I'm feeling is pain. What I'm feeling is PTSD. I'm feeling a wide range of emotions right in this moment. I tried to think about it. If it honestly, if it wasn't for this show, and I thought about postponing the show just because of the impact that events like these have on me, that I see it has on other people, where it's just you just gotta disconnect, where you just gotta disconnect. So I guess, but we just do what we do, right? We're still expected to perform. And I think that's the unfortunate part when we talk about situations like this, where we don't even get a chance to grieve. We don't get a chance to really cope with our emotions and deal because we still are expected to perform. Now, granted, this show isn't it's not nationally syndicated. If I wanted to not do it, I didn't have to, but I made a commitment, and a part of that commitment was that I will make myself available Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. and my word is bond, like we used to say back in the 90s. But this situation is hard. It's hard for so many reasons. So I'm a backtrack because I'm under the assumption that everybody knows what's taking place with regards to Ahmaud Arbery, who was killed. So, if you're not aware, Arbery, 25, was jogging in the Brunswick neighborhood on February 23rd, and this is in Georgia, when a former police officer and his son chased him down. Right? He chased him down. And I feel like I need a disclaimer. I feel like I need a disclaimer. Maybe if I put a picture of him up smiling, maybe that'll do something. Maybe if I think about it, that his death isn't in vain. That his death is going to galvanize a people on his behalf and on the behalf of others who've been senselessly murdered while doing nothing but something that they enjoy. It's hard when I sit and look at that face because he looks just like me. He looks just like my brother, God bless the dead. He looked just like my homies Brandon and Aaron and Keenan. He looks like our possible guest, Jay Barnett. He looks like those I call friends. He looks like those who I call an acquaintance. He looks like the brothers that come to my group. He looks like the brothers that were on Rhetorically Speaking yesterday. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'm not going to pretend like it is. I'm not going to pretend like it is because these are the emotions that continue to churn. That continue to churn. And the older I get, the more I ask the question, what more? More? What more do you want from us? Why do we have to continue to being the threat? When will be recognized for our humanity? Let me play this James Baldwin clip. Maybe he could give me some energy, some inspiration.
I was born here almost 60 years ago. I'm not going to live another 60 years. You always told me it takes time. It has taken my father's time, my mother's time, my uncle's time, my brother's and my sister's time, my nieces and my nephew's time. How much time do you want for your progress?
I don't know. I don't know how much more time. But I'm going to get back to it anyway. So Ahmaud Arbery was killed February 23rd. They were chased down by Gregory McMichael, a former police officer, and their son, Travis. They told officers that they thought he looked like a suspect in a series of recent break-ins in the area. Because we all look alike, right? The video came out today. The video has been circulating on social media. This bystander recorded it on a cell phone. Don't ask me why this just now comes out on May 5th. And he was murdered on February 23rd. Don't ask me why this wasn't turned in. Because we know the McMichaels clan, and that's what I'm going to call them, the McMichaels clan. We know that they weren't prosecuted. Why weren't they prosecuted? Because they were covered by the citizen's arrest law that exists in Georgia, which it was erroneously applied. Where if you see somebody in the commission of an act, you can conduct a citizen's arrest. But he wasn't in the commission of an act. They said that he was at a house that was being newly constructed or renovated, and he looked through the window, left and kept running. He said there was a series of break-ins in the area, apparently perpetrated by a black man. Again, we all look alike. And so when he went jogging and kept running, They got in their trucks and they followed. They followed. Gregory McMichael tells his son, Travis, the guy is running down the street. Let's go. He goes and gets his pistol. He goes and gets his shotgun. And they hop in their truck in hot pursuit. They followed him. And in the midst of that, they called 911. And 911 call taker asked him, what was he doing that was of criminal concern? Did they give an answer? Yeah, they gave an answer. He's a black man running down our road. He's a black man running down a road. Again, that could have been me. I run in a predominantly white neighborhood at least 2-3 times a week. I'm not going to lie. The fears that Ahmaud Arbery was feeling once they physically accosted him, they tried to grab him. Those are the same fears that I have when I run. Because no, I can't just be out there simply enjoying the run. I have to be alert at all times. I have to be mindful about my presence. I have to be mindful about how my black body and my black self can be viewed by those out in the world. I just don't have that luxury where I can just run and just be free. They caught up to him. They cut him off. He runs in the opposite direction. And again, they follow. They hunt him like he's big game, like he's a deer, like he's a buck, like he's a rabbit. And if naturally his survival instincts kick in, trying to save his life. He sees his life flashing before his eyes. And he ends up shot twice, killed in cold blood, what's been considered a modern day lynching. God bless the dead. You know, I had some initial thoughts when I heard the story. It's just like, again, I wasn't surprised. Now we just sit and think in between each incident, like, when's the next one coming? Because it's sure enough gonna come. Because why? Because this is America. It was triggering. I'm starting to regain some of my composure now. But how do you sit and talk about a 25-year-old who's murdered in cold blood, that has the same you as you? How do you not be angry? How can you not be sad? How can you not be fearful for your own life, for the life of your kids, for the life of your family, the friends, acquaintances, the brother who you don't know that you just pass in the street? It's triggering. When we're watching these videos and we're reading these stories, it's traumatic. secondary trauma. And we know trauma produces PTSD. And so when I see and I read, because I didn't watch the video, and I read incidents like this, I think about my time in Bloomsburg University, a predominantly white town where I went to college, and I see Confederate flags on trucks, and I'm being called nigger, nigger, nigger. Right? We got to make the distinction, even though for me it's all the same. I think about the times when I've gone into stores and I've been watched. I think about times I've gone into elevators and purses have been clutched. I think about going to universities to work with the beard and they say, "Well, you've changed." Right? Because we understand how intimidating the black body of a black man can be. I sit and look at the outrage from black folk everywhere, and I feel the pain. I feel it. I feel the pain. And then I sit and watch our white counterparts being able to sit and post. They're able to just scroll past this story. They're able to post about Gold's Gym selling 50 memberships since reopening. They can argue about the government interfering with our civil liberties. Yeah, I don't have that privilege. I don't have that privilege. I have to sit and I have to think about, all right, I feel sorry for this black family. I feel sorry for other black folk in that town who are frightened. I feel sorry for black folk all around the world. I feel sorry for self. Because we now have to again and again and again navigate these emotions. They say heavy is the head that wears the crown, but what happens when you get tired of wearing the crown? What's left? We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. Ahmaud Arbery didn't have a choice. They tried to bring up a shoplifting offense that he had in high school as justification for murder. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here watching this white woman who spat on two white people in a store here in Philly, and she gets an article written about her. She gets to tell her point of view, like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I was just in a cranky mood that day. She's allowed to be in a cranky mood that day. But yet we can't jog while black. Put that on the list that we can't do for damn sure. Because we already know we can't barbecue while black. We already know we can't be at an Ivy League school while black. We know you can't be a professor at an Ivy League school and try to get into your home while black. Again, these are all traumas that so many of us feel the effects of. And so what we do is we store it. There's this book called The Body Keeps Count and talks about how The trauma and the adverse situations and all those emotions, they go right here into the belly. They don't leave. Consciously, they may fall back into the subconscious, but they remain. So when a cop pulls up next to me, minding his own business, my body is keeping count from being 16 years of age and matching the description, or being 19 years of age in college and being falsely accused of retail theft, or being 22 years of age and being asked for my ID as I'm about to walk into my house. Yeah, all that anxiety, it comes up. And it might manifest itself in a way that's not necessarily conducive to maintaining our well-being. But damn, what you expect? You know, we make fun of Tyrese when he said, "What more do you want from me?" But what more do you want from us? We're not going back to Africa. As much as we hate it, we're Americans. We have more civic pride. You have to if you're going to endure and continue to remain. The frustration sets in when we talk about this lack of accountability, the passing of the buck. Lack of accountability is this young man being killed February 23rd and May 5th, it being sent to a grand jury whenever one is convened. Some 3 months later, a lack of accountability, a lack of respect for the black man, for the black woman, for the black person, complete and utter disregard for the black body. But this isn't new, right? This isn't new. We've seen this story time and time again. But again, Baldwin asked that question.
I was born here almost 60 years ago. I'm not going to live another 60 years. You always told me it takes time. It has taken my father's time, my mother's time, my uncle's time, my brother's and my sister's time, my nieces and my nephew's time. How much time do you want for your progress?
How much time do you want for your progress? And see, this was where we get frustrated with people like Michael Jordan. Right? And you're probably like, what Mike Jordan got to do with this? This is the frustration that we have with our people, with our rich, with our famous, who continue to take our money, take our dollars in the name of capitalism, but lack the ability to advocate on our behalf. And so we see when Helms, the governor of North Carolina, says there'll be no celebration in Mudville tonight. What, you think they not saying that in Glenn County, Georgia? You think these feelings don't exist there? And that's why it's incumbent upon them to utilize whatever leverage or whatever faux leverage they have to not only cash us out, because we know Mike Jordan been cashing, funding different organizations and what have you, building clinics. But in 1990, the black folk in North Carolina needed you to say, I support this other black man. Because then maybe you wouldn't need to build as many clinics, Mike Jordan. Right? Because maybe the government, with the right people in charge, would have taken on that burden, taken on that responsibility. But again, heavy is the head that wears the crown, I guess, right? We can't stop holding them accountable for damn sure. It's unfortunate that COVID is taking place right now. Because I'm sure that we descend upon that community forcing their hand for justice in the name of Ahmaud Arbery. I don't know what hopes I have. I can't say. I seen Rodney King. I've seen Sean Bell. I've seen Abdul Weem. I've seen Mike Brown. I've seen Botham Jean. You might say she got convicted. Child, please, and in my Chad Ochocinco voice. She gonna be back out in these streets in no time. You dig me? And so the only thing that I can say and be hopeful is for us to take care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves looks like logging off, not sharing the video just to keep up with the Joneses, not viewing the video, not reading the write-up. It's salacious. It's trauma porn. We can convene with one another and love on one another and edify self and others in especially difficult times. Because why? We can't expect anybody else to. What they say in New Jack City, CMB, man, we all we got. And true indeed, we're all that we have. God bless the dead, Ahmaud Arbery. Just other brothers and sisters out here just trying to live, man. Just trying to live, do what they do. Listen, I'm calling it a day. Listen, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Tune in. Make sure I ain't gonna even hit the Dr. Umar clip, so you know it's real. But I appreciate you all. Peace.